Welcome back to Grapple FK, everyone. We are covering Petr Yan against Aljamain Sterling. It's the third fight on the Saturday card. It's for the belt, so it's no mercy against the Funk Master. Both around the same size. Sterling's got a pretty big reach advantage, actually, about 4 inches. Stars-wise, Petr Yan's from boxing background. He was an amateur boxer. Then he got into Muay Thai. And he's a pretty good grappler too. So I think he does some kind of wrestling or sambo or something. I know he does jiu-jitsu, but he's only a blue belt. Aljamain's very well-rounded. He's good everywhere, I think. But yeah, I think... how do you see this one going, Andrew? Both very good fighters.
Yeah, they're both very good, both standing up in terms of striking and on the ground. So as you said, Petr Yan's got the boxing background. He's also got a decent grappling as well. Aljamain is a very diverse striker. A lot of people comparing him to, the John Jones of the bantamweight division in terms of his diversity of strikes. And again, he's got very slick jiu-jitsu.
Very slick.
He does have a wrestling base as well.
Yeah, he's NCAA 3 or some shit.
Yeah, so not, great, but it's...
something.
It's certainly, a base level that he can work with. Yeah. But yes, slick jiu-jitsu, the way he submitted Cody Stamen was really, really fast. I really liked that with the leg lock. So, yeah, so they're both very well-rounded, but I see this primarily as a striking match.
Yeah.
So Petr Yan tends to come forward or plant his feet, one of the two. And he uses aggressive offensive boxing primarily. He's got good kicks, but it's primarily his hands that he uses. He's got nice feints, which he uses from time to time. He disguises things nicely, but it's mainly just that aggression and just very sharp 1-2s straight down the middle. And he'll get guys up against the cage and hit them hard and finish them. Where my issue with Petr Yan is, and I know you're a big fan of Petr Yan, and you'll have some counterpoints to this.
Yeah.
Well, my issue with Petr Yan is he looks great going forward. He's an excellent aggressor, but going backwards, he doesn't slip. He doesn't counter. He's not pivoting. He's not moving out the way. He gets hit and he just covers up, takes a couple of shots, and then comes back.
Yeah.
Which, people are talking about how he's boxed since the age of 13. If he's been boxing to any level since the age of 13, you just don't do that walking backwards in a straight line, taking 2 or 3 shots.
Yeah, I think that's more the Muay Thai. After boxing, he went straight into Muay Thai. So he trains at a Muay Thai gym.
Yeah.
That's probably why he does that.
Even some Muay Thai guys, decent Muay Thai guys, would counter. There's no head movement there.
He does have really good chin, like seriously good chin. Which I don't know. Maybe he's just one of those guys who just doesn't feel it. Some guys can just take shots.
Yeah,
he's never been rocked. He's never been KO'd. He's never been TKO'd. He's never been TKO'd or KO'd in his boxing career. He's just got a good chin, man.
Is that, to me, that style doesn't...
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Like a brilliant idea.
Yeah, it does make sense.
But so far, he's got away with it. So
yeah, he's got away with it. Yeah. I would add something to that in that normally he is the aggressor, like 95% of the time. And one thing he does incredibly well is he cuts off the octagon very, very quickly. Very quickly. I don't think people catch on to how quickly he cuts angles. He's not really he doesn't hop around on his feet that much, but the way he cuts angles and the pressure that he puts on people is very hard to deal with.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, so on the other side, you've got Aljamain Sterling, a completely different kind of striker.
Yeah.
Kind of your sort of a good example of an MMA striker who fights at range. He doesn't throw a lot of combinations, although he will throw some combinations periodically. He tends to throw single shots, single jabs, single kicks from range, keep moving around the outside, and just come in, then dart right back out. And doing that, he lands a lot.
Yeah.
He's not necessarily hurting you, but he's scoring points. And it's really nice. In terms of MMA striking, he does it very, very well. It's like John Jones,
He's very quick.
Yes, he is, yeah. And it's the diversity as well. It's the knees, it's the elbows, it's the jabs. Like he'll set up punches with kicks. So he'll throw a middle kick and then throw a punch at the end of it, which is nice. Yeah. That is just an awful lot to deal with, both the diversity and the volume. It can just be overwhelming. So you've got two essentially very good strikers in their own ways, very different styles. I tend to think that this is a slightly bad stylistic matchup for Petr Yan and quite a good one for Aljamain Sterling. Because I think Petr Yan is going to come forward. Now, he may be quicker than Aljamain Sterling. He may be slow. I don't know, because they're both quick.
They're both very quick. It's hard to say who's quicker. But I think combination punching, Yan is definitely quicker.
Yeah, so in terms, if they're standing in the pocket, Yan wins all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's that kind of puncher. He'll land big shots in the exchange, whereas Aljamain Sterling won't. Aljamain Sterling needs to fight at range. So I imagine this, if Petr Yan comes forward, which he will, almost certainly.
Yeah, 100%.
Aljamain Sterling is going to, dance around the outside, come in and tag him, and Petr Yan's going to be walking onto those shots. I don't think Petr Yan's going to get hurt necessarily, but I think he's just going to get hit probably quite a lot. And it remains to be seen whether Petr Yan can catch Aljamain Sterling as he's coming in, because that's what he's going to have to do. And my issue with that is Petr Yan is not a counter striker. That's my issue. So Petr Yan is going to have to push the pace and cut him off and get him against the cage in order to do any damage.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that.
And that's a difficult thing to do against Aljamain Sterling.
He does counter-strike, though, Petr Yan. He can counter-strike. It's just he's normally on the offensive, so he doesn't have to counter-strike. I've seen him counter-strike. I'm pretty sure I have.
Yeah. I would disagree. I'm sure he has at some points.
Yeah.
He does move. Like he'll move his head out the way.
You won't see it because he's always aggressive. He's always being so aggressive. So, but going back to your point of, can he cut off the ring and push? Put the pace on Sterling. I think he can. I think Sterling will probably be able to dance around for a bit, but I think at some point he's going to get tagged, and he's going to get tagged hard, and whatever he'll be landing on Petr Yan or Petr Yan, we'll just call him Peter. Whatever he'll be landing on Yan will just walk through. But I think what Yan lands on Sterling will have an effect on him, and it will accumulate as the rounds go on. I think a better game plan for Sterling would be to try and submit Yan, in my opinion. I don't think Sterling can win this standing up. From what I've seen, I just think Yan has got far too much power in his kicks, in his arms. And I think if he catches Sterling has been KO'd before, straight knee down the middle. It was a kind, you could kind of say it was an unlucky KO, but I mean, he has been KO'd before. He's been rocked before. I just think Yan is too strong coming forward for him.
Yeah, I mean,
I think Sterling needs to add the chain wrestling in, the jiu-jitsu. He needs to do the overall MMA thing to win this fight. And this is by no means, I'm not saying that Yan's going to go out there and steamroll it. I think Yan will win, but this will be a close fight. But I think Sterling needs to do an overall MMA thing to win this fight. I don't think he can win this purely standing, in my opinion.
Well, in that case, can Sterling get Petr Yan to the ground?
Possibly. I think he can, maybe. Petr Yan's got very good takedown defense. He's had 2 recent camps in Dagestan and Chechnya with, obviously they produce by far the best wrestlers in the world. So I'm assuming he's developed a lot in that area. But Sterling is pretty good at getting people down. He's pretty good at it. So I think maybe, possibly, I don't know. Jan's got very good takedown defense, though.
I think it'll be a challenge. It'll be a challenge.
Yeah, it'll be a challenge. Yeah, I mean, but given that he was in Dagestan for about 8 weeks, and then he was in Chechnya for 4 weeks, I think. So he was in that region for about 2 or 3 months, doing camps with various Russian wrestlers. So, I mean, I think it'll be a challenge for Sterling, but I mean, he could set it up with, as you said, he could set it up with a shot from the outside. If he gets a shot from the outside, stings Jan, hurts him a bit, and then goes for the takedown, that could potentially happen. But yeah, Jan's takedown defense 88%. Who's he been taken down by? He's been taken down by Jin Soo Sun once. So he's only been, and he got taken down by John Dodson twice. So I think Sterling could probably take him down. Yeah,
it can happen.
It can happen. Yeah, Sterling's takedown accuracy is low, but I've seen him get pretty good takedowns on people.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's impossible to say. And the thing is, it's going to be a jiu-jitsu guy primarily in Sterling versus a wrestler in Peter Yan.
Not really a wrestler.
Peter Yan.
Yeah, he's a boxer that transitioned into Muay Thai and then transitioned into grappling. He's not really a wrestler. He's just, I just think he's very strong, and he took to grappling very quickly.
Okay.
I think physically he's just very strong. But he's not a master of sport in Sambo. He's a master of sport in boxing and a master of sport in something else. I can't remember. But it's definitely not Sambo or anything like that.
Yeah, I don't know how it goes on the ground, to be honest.
So master of sport in boxing, master of sport in mixed martial arts, and blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Born to a father of mixed Chinese-Russian descent. I didn't know that, so he's quarter Chinese. In 6th grade, began to train in Taekwondo, blah, 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 blah. Boxing, boxed for 8 years. So yeah, he's a boxer that transitioned into MMA and Muay Thai. He's at Tiger Muay Thai now. So he's not really a wrestler.
So Sterling probably has the advantage on the ground if it goes there.
I would say so, yeah. I think so, yeah. I think in terms of jiu-jitsu, he would have the advantage. That's why I'm thinking that's probably the best option for him. His jiu-jitsu is very good, right? I mean, from what I see, it looks really good.
From what I've seen, it's good. I mean, he submitted Cody Stamen super fast.
Yeah.
And of course we saw what he did to
what's his name?
Big
the really good guy.
Sandhagen.
Yeah.
Although I think Sandhagen shit the bed there.
That was a weird one, but I mean, it's still it happened.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah. Matt Sarah was his coach, very good BJJ coach.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. It is a tough one. I mean, I'm giving it. Getting on to predictions, I'm giving it to Jan 60-40. I think Jan will probably stop him later on in the fight. I'm assuming this is 5 rounds because it's for a belt.
Yeah, well, that's another dynamic.
Yeah.
So Peter Yan's gone 4 or 5 rounds against Jose Aldo.
Yeah,
and I liked what he did in that fight. He seemed to have a game plan. He was pretty.
He's very patient.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Conserving energy. He wasn't going crazy, and then he methodically broke Jose Aldo down when he was tired in the 4th round. So there's an intelligence there, or at least a game plan. So
Yeah,
I like that. He's a proven championship round fighter. Whereas Aljamain Sterling, We don't know that yet.
We don't know that. Sterling has fought better opposition, it should be said.
And quite a
but-
lot more fights he's had, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's had more fights. They have some opponents outside of the top 15 in common. But yeah, it's going to be a close one. But I'm thinking 60-40. Jan, I think Jan will probably stop him late in the fight. I think the pressure and the pressure and the power will accumulate and be too much.
Okay.
However, it's going nowhere near the safe come for me.
This isn't suitable for either the comes.
Yeah. I'd like to see the odds and see what I don't know, like a Sterling submission is, or a Jan TKO or something.
Well, who do you think the favourite is?
I would think Jan is probably a slight favourite, maybe.
What odds would you give for Jan?
I don't know, maybe, I don't know, minus 100, minus 120 or something.
Well, they're both dead even.
Oh, they're dead even. Oh, fuck.
Yeah, minus 110.
Makes sense in a way.
It does. I think it does make sense.
Yeah, it does make sense. Sterling's a very good fighter.
Yeah, it's just interesting because Jan is the champion. It's interesting that the odds makers are not giving that much respect.
Yeah, I think it's because Sterling's fought better people than him. The way he got the belt, and Sterling's looked pretty good as of late. But yeah, what are the odds for like a Sterling submission or something?
Let's have a look. Plus 333.
And what are the odds for a Peter Yan TKO? I'm guessing they'll probably be pretty shit. Probably.
Plus 275. So it's not great, either for the Sterling submission or the Peter Yan KO.
Yeah, this is a weird fight. They're both very, very good. So what do you think? You think Sterling? What have you got Sterling by what percentage and method of victory?
Sterling 60-40 via decision.
Yeah, via decision. Okay.
It's a tricky one. So
it's tricky. Yeah.
I think Sterling will either dance around the outside and win on points in what is quite a boring kind of fight, or Peter Yan will just walk him down and beat the fuck out of him against the cage.
Yeah.
Pretty early on. There's an outside chance that Sterling can get the submission, but I see this mostly being a striking match.
Yeah, getting the submission is difficult given he's a good wrestler. He's very good at jiu-jitsu, but I think if they do end up on the ground, he's got a good chance of submitting Yan. But getting Yan to the ground is going to be very, very difficult now, especially after those two camps he had. It's going to be incredibly difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this fight kind of reminds me of Israel Adesanya versus Paulo Costa. So Peter Yan is Paulo Costa. He's the power puncher. He needs to close the distance and get you against the cage and beat you up. And Sterling is Israel Adesanya, fights on the outside and is looking to win on points. Even though Izzy knocked him out, but that's
even though they're completely different fighters overall. But
who?
Well, as in Izzy is a phenomenal striker, elite world class striker. Sterling isn't. Sterling kind of throws one or two pot shots. Izzy's not really a Brazilian jiu-jitsu guy. He's learning.
Yeah,
whereas
but
Sterling's a black belt.
all right, Walid.
Yeah.
So in the context of this being a striking match, you've got the power puncher versus the guy who fights on the outside. It's the same kind of dynamic. It's the same game plan as in that fight. And
yeah,
I think in these kinds of fights, typically the more sophisticated volume-based striker who fights at range wins.
But Jan lands more volume though than Sterling. So Sterling lands 4.82, Jan lands 6.32.
I don't see him landing that kind of volume against Sterling, because Petr Yan, everyone he's faced, just stands in front of him. They stand in front of him.
I don't think he'll land that much against Sterling too. I agree with you there. The problem here is Sterling does have a reach advantage, but they're the same height. So he's going to be he has to be very clever with that reach advantage. If he can't
use 4 inches, it's 4 inches. That's a big reach advantage.
That's big for that. Yeah, for that weight, that's big. But if he can't utilize that early on and dance around, then he'll be in serious trouble. But I don't think he'll be an early finish. I don't think he'll be like Jan KOing him in the second round, or Sterling submitting him in the second round, or something like that. I think he'll go over 2.5. We should probably check that bet too. But I just think Jan will wear him down. I think eventually probably get like a fourth round finish.
It's possible, and
very close.
That is possible that Jan could get, say, a 4th round finish. It depends on how Sterling does in terms of cardio in rounds 4 and 5, and we don't know.
Yeah, and also Jan hits fucking hard. He throws everything with serious menace. So yeah, I don't know. It's difficult to say. It's a very difficult fight to predict. But I've got Jan. You've got Sterling.
So just for the fans at home, I've just input some on Paddy Power. I've inputted bet on Sterling to win, and hedging that with a Petr Yan KO. So you put 10 quid on a Sterling win, 3 quid on a Petr Yan KO, for a total of 13 quid. You get 19 back if Sterling wins, and then you get 11.25 back if Petr Yan wins. And you could fiddle around with that to basically come out even if Petr Yan gets the KO. That's one potential way of doing it.
Yeah.
Or you could do the reverse, do a Petr Yan win and hedge that with a Sterling decision and or submission.
Yeah.
So I think that there are ways you can make this work and mitigate the risk.
Yeah. Or you could just get really sexy and just say 50 quid down on a Petr Yan 4th round KO. No, don't do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a tough one. Both very good fighters. I like Sterling too. He's improved a lot over his fights. And I like Jan. I like Jan's attitude, the aggression. But yeah, that's it. I think with this fight, it's a seriously stacked card. It's a stacked card.
Yeah, it's a great card. Great card. I'm looking forward to seeing Dominic Cruz again.
Yeah.
Just to see what kind of
wins and then just joins the commentary team.
Well, he can interview himself, can't he?
Yeah, exactly.
He can be a dick to himself.
Yeah.
I'm just curious to see how good Dominic Cruz still is. I need to go back and watch his fight against Cejudo.
Phenomenal fighter he used to be.
Yeah. If he's still half the fighter he was, then that's another very serious guy in the bantamweight division.
Yeah, he's phenomenal.
I mean, this whole division is ridiculously stacked with TJ Dillashaw coming back, Cody Garbrandt back in the mix. Cody Garbrandt's boxing is sick.
Cody Garbrandt is serious.
Yeah. I mean, Henry Cejudo might
But
come
man's
back.
Man's chinny. If he fights Garbrandt, he's a bit chinny.
Yeah, he is.
He fights someone like Yan and he gets clocked clean. It'd be an early night. But then again, he could just knock anyone out as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, the Sean O'Malley, he's still there.
Oh yeah,
this is ridiculous.
What happened to that guy?
He hurt his foot, and we haven't heard from him since.
Yeah.
He got beaten by Marlon Vera. Hurt his foot.
Yeah.
But yeah, Marlon. I mean,
it's a very stacked division.
It's ridiculous. Like, it is ridiculous. Stacked. Yeah.
135, 145, 155. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah, well, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching, folks. Please subscribe. Please like. Please leave any comments. And then we'll be doing more videos very, very shortly for this card. This card is fucking serious. You really need to watch this one. Some serious fights on this. And we'll see everybody soon. Take care. Bye.
Wait. Should we recap the bets? What we think in terms of bets?
Okay, you completely fuck my buy up, but yeah, let's do it. Bets.
I mean, I'm fiddling around on Paddy Powell now just to see the combinations we can get, because if we're not putting either of these guys in any of the accumulators, just betting on one of them individually is not going to work. So, for example, as I said earlier, if you put, say, an Aljamain Sterling win, hedge that with Peter Yan KO, that's relatively risk-free, and you can still make some money if Sterling wins.
Yeah.
Do the inverse, victory for Peter Yan, hedge that with an Aljamain Sterling decision win, and again, it's a similar thing. You make money if Peter Yan wins, you get your money back if Sterling wins by decision. And I think that's probably the only two ways you could do this.
I'm going to add a little spice to that, Andrew, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go on.
As Chris Eubank Sr. says. Do you think Yan can win by decision? Given he's won a lot of fights by decision.
I think he's going to get outstruck.
You think you ultimately get outstruck?
I mean, unless he just completely beats the fuck out of him, but Sterling hangs on.
And hangs on, yeah.
But I don't see this being a classic points fight with Yan winning. Yeah, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. I think Yan will... Going back, I think Yan will stop him late in the fight. But I wouldn't be surprised if Sterling won this, becomes champion. But also Cejudo was always talking about a comeback.
Yeah. Well, I saw a video of him today, interviewed by the Schmo, where he called Peter Yan an ugly communist potato.
Well, that's not very nice.
Referencing the ugliness of his face.
Yes.
Which was harsh. But he does look a bit like a potato, to be fair.
Yeah, he does.
And he is Russian.
Gonna like that.
Well, he doesn't speak English, so he won't know about it. So it's fine.
He's learning. He's getting there. He's getting there. But I think Cejudo's an interesting character. He's on everyone's case.
Yeah, I'm just gonna check the bantamweight rankings just to see who's next in line for the title shot.
Okay.
So Peter Yan's champion. Aljamain Sterling's number 1. Sanhagen number 2. Despite just having lost, he's out of it. Rob Font's number 3. I don't know how that's happened. Cody Garbrandt number 4. I think he's probably next, surely. Jose Aldo number 5, he's out of it. Marlon Moraes 6, he's out of it. Frankie Edgar 7, Pedro Munoz 8, and then so on and so on.
Yeah.
Actually, it gets interesting. Merab Devashvili number 12, that's another sicko.
Oh, that's Sterling's training partner as well. One of
Yeah,
Sterling's main training partners.
he's sick. He's a potential
Yeah.
champion as well.
He's very, very, yeah, he's a monster. He's
Yeah,
a
it's
monster.
just non-stop chain wrestling. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, he was like a painter decorator for a while, and then I think they talked him out of it about a year and a half ago, and said, just take this on like full time. Ray Longo and Matt Serra and everyone, Aljamain Sterling, that team, they were like, just do this full time. You're going to make money eventually. And he was like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, you can't fight like him and be a painter and decorator.
Yeah, well, apparently you can. Yeah, he's crazy. But,
it's ridiculous.
He's ridiculous. Yeah, his wrestling is just next level. He's Georgian, it makes sense.
But, I mean, Sean O'Malley is not even ranked. Dillashaw's obviously not ranked. This is just
Dillashaw's looking juicy, mate.
Looking juicy.
He's gonna be juicy.
Yeah, well,
good old Dillashaw.
A sick fighter. Great.
He's a very good fighter. Very, very good. Very dangerous guy.
Yeah.
But man was on the Mexican meat, mate. So
yeah,
I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens when he comes back. Who they give him.
Yeah, man, sick division.
It's a very good division, but I think Jan will keep the title, but we'll see what happens. If it does change hands, that'll be interesting. But yeah, all right. So we've got some kind of betting combos going on there. We could switch it up and still make some profit overall. But just to reiterate, we're not going to put this fight in any of the comes because it's just too close to call.
Yeah.
Which is obviously reflected in the odds as well.
Yep.
Yeah. So thanks for watching, everyone, and we will catch you soon.
Bye.
Bye.